All right, so fight or flight is a good response, right? But here's another thing about fight or flight. When you have it, what it does is it releases brain chemicals and hormones, and your autonomic nervous system and your whole nervous system basically gets in this alarm, and it goes into a response mode that is basically to take care of the fear. And what else happens is capacities begin to go down. If you're in a fight or flight mode, you ever been really, really threatened and you just couldn't think, and you then leave the meeting and you get calmer and you go, well, why didn't I say this? Or why didn't I tell him that? Or why didn't I say that to her? Or whatever it was, because your brain starts working again. Well, that's exactly what this is. If you're on a railroad track, if you're just walking along on the railroad track and you hear, you hear the train whistle blowing, the last thing you want to do is think, right? You don't want to sit there and go, how fast is it traveling? 67 miles an hour? How much does it weigh? How much do I have time to eat another sandwich before it hits me? No, you don't want to be thinking. You want to react. You either want to punch it out, not an option, or dive off the track. But your brain actually shuts down thinking, problem solving, creativity, initiative, persistence, adaptivity, everything we need in order to solve problems and to live life. Okay? Everything we need in order to solve problems and live life lives in the part of the brain that shuts down when we're afraid. Now, that's not altogether true, as I'll talk about in a little bit. There's a little anxiety, performance anxiety, that's really, really good, that kind of gets us, if a professional golfer or is playing a major tournament or a Super Bowl, quarterback is in the Super Bowl, then they're going to be a little more amped up, hopefully, and that's going to up their performance, okay? But if they're too afraid, they're going to hit it in the lake or throw the ball in the hot dog stand. So there's a curve we'll talk about. But here's the main thing. It goes into fight or flight, and think about this. Anybody see a problem? If a train is coming at you, go into fight or flight, preferably flight, unless you're Superman. I guess you could fight it, but go into flight and get out of the way. But let me ask you something. What if love is approaching you? What if an opportunity is approaching you that's a good opportunity? It's not a train about to hit you. But what if your brain has an overactive fear mechanism, and maybe you've had trauma? We're going to go into a lot of causes of fear. Maybe you had stuff that happened in your life that basically, you're missing something here, that basically activated your fear response, and your fear response is designed to return to normal. In other words, when I get off the track, dive off the track, the train goes by, I realize I'm safe, my fear response goes down, I can eat my lunch again, okay? Fear is supposed to come back down to normal. You ever been in a building, the fire alarm's going off, and then they've figured all out, well, when the danger's gone, it returns to normal and everybody can go back to work. Your body's supposed to do that. Here's the problem. What if fear stays active too long? Go to the next point. Here's why it matters. In life, basically, when we are walking around, and we're going to look at all the causes of this, but when we are walking around with a lot of fear past what we should have, now past what we should have is basically one of two things. It's that we are afraid of things that we don't need to be afraid of. In other words, we're not having a good alarm system. We're having an alarm system that's going off on things that we shouldn't fear, right? Like safe people, we shouldn't fear. But if we've had a lot of bad experiences, then we'll generalize those bad experiences with bad people to all people. And why does it matter? Because basically, it limits life. That is the big problem with fear. The big problem with fear. Fear is good if we're fearing.